A very good morning, everyone. I hope that you are doing well, and also welcome to the tutorial slash lab class for CIN603. So today is Thursday, and I hope that you all are doing pretty well. We're nearing the weekend. At the same time, I also hope that you are keeping up with your major project. Now, please remember, if you have any questions or queries about it, you're most welcome to drop me an email, or you can always drop me a message on Moodle, and I'm most happy to help you out where possible. Okay. Now, apart from that, okay, so this is week 10 of the semester. You have 5 more weeks to go till week 15, and week 16, you will have your study break and then final examinations. So at the same time, while you're doing assessments, please keep that in mind. The faster you finish up the assessments in all the courses that you're doing, the better and more efficient revision and study time you'll have. Now, so without further delays, let's go and look at our tutorial questions for week 10. Not much questions, I think 6 or 7 questions from tutorial 10. So we'll go over them and we'll discuss those. Okay, so 7 questions altogether. Now, these questions are directly related to your lecture notes. Okay, the lecture notes that you have in the week 10 section of the Moodle shell. Okay, so if you have gone through it and if you have answered this on your own, good. Those of you who have not answered and you're waiting for me to call out the answers, so you can write that down. That's okay, but the thing is, you are losing on to some good old revision time. Why? Because when you attempt the answers on your own, only then you are able to identify what you have done wrong, what you have written, and then cross-check against the model answers, and then you can build on and improve on it. So without further delay, let's go and discuss this question. So question number 1, state some common goals of the system design phase. So if we have a look at some of the common goals of a system design phase, so we'll go and list it down in terms of bullets. So first one is build a system that is effective. Build a system that is effective, comma, reliable, and maintainable. Build a system that is effective, comma, reliable, and maintainable. Effective, that it actually works. Reliable, available 24/7 or when you need it. Maintainable, you can do some future work or support work in them. Next point. Okay, let's go and describe what effective is. So the next point, effective if it supports business requirements, effective if it supports business requirements and meets user needs, and meets user needs. Effective if it supports business requirements and meets user needs. Full stop. Next point, reliable, comma, if it handles input errors. Reliable, comma, if it handles input errors. Comma, processing errors, comma, processing errors, comma, hardware failures, comma, hardware failures, comma, or human mistakes, full stop, or human mistakes, full stop. So if I have to repeat this, reliable, comma, if it handles input errors, comma, processing errors, comma, hardware failures, or human mistakes, full stop. Next up, maintainable. So the next point, maintainable, comma, if it is flexible, maintainable, comma, if it is flexible, comma, scalable, 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 comma, easily modified, scalable, comma, and easily modified. Pardon me, I missed the word and. So and easily modified, full stop. Maintainable if it is flexible, scalable, and easily modified. Okay, so those all are some of the common goals of system design phase. Okay, build a system that is effective, reliable, and maintainable. Effective, it supports business requirements and meets user needs. Reliable if it handles input errors, processing errors, hardware failures, or human mistakes. Maintainable if it is flexible, scalable, and easily modified. Question number 2. Why do you think that user interfaces have evolved drastically over the year? Over the years, it should be, right? Over the years. First point. Now, let's have a look at the question, okay? So why do you feel that, you have more advanced user interfaces compared to what you had previously? For example, if you go and have a look at Microsoft Word 1996 version compared to what we have, massive difference. Okay, so what could be some of the reasons for it? First one is improvement in technology. First one, improvement in technology over the years. Next point, more scientific research on human computer interaction. More scientific research on human computer interaction. Next point, increased demand of users. The users, as they would demand, the interface increases. So increased demand as per the users. USERS. All right, so I think I have 3 user interfaces, or 3 reasons why I feel user interfaces has increased drastically over the years. Anyone has any other answer that you'd like to call out? No? All right, let's move on. Question number 3. What is a user interface? What is a user interface? A user interface comprises features Comprises, comprises, comprises features that affect comprises features that affect two-way communications, comprises features that affect two-way communications, between the user and the computer, between the user and the computer. Comprises features that affect two-way communications between the user and the computer. Okay, so those are some of the things, or that is what a user interface is about. Question number 4, define human computer interaction. Question number 4, define human computer interaction. HCI, that is the answer, please write down. HCI describes the relationship HCI describes the relationship between computers and people. HCI describes the relationship between computers and people who use them to perform their jobs. Who use them to perform their jobs. Between computers and people who use them to perform their jobs. Full stop. Question number 5. When designing UI, what should be some common objectives? So when you are designing a user interface, what are some of the common objectives? In fact, there are so many. We'll list down probably about 2 of them. First one, user-friendly design. User-friendly design. Next one is easy to learn. After that, easy to understand. Also write down these as well. Reliability, should be reliable. Should be reliable. It should be flexible. It should be flexible. And finally, should be easily maintainable. Should be easily maintainable. Question number 6. List the 7 habits of successful interface designer. So you don't need to explain them, you just need to read them, list them rather. So first one, understand the business. Best successful habits of a interface designer is understand the business. Next up, maximize graphical effectiveness. Maximize graphical effectiveness. Maximize graphical effectiveness. Next, think like a user. Think like a user. After that, next point is use models and prototypes. Use models and prototypes. Do understand and know what models and prototypes are. Okay, basically they're quite similar. Prototypes are just like a miniature version of the actual system. So prototype is a physical design, whereas model is something on paper or on a software, so it becomes a logical design. Next on the list is focus on usability. Focus on usability. The word usability means how easy it is to use an interface. Usability. Next on the list is invite feedback. Invite feedback. Now, why feedback? With feedback, you get to scrutinize the system. When we say scrutinize, is to look at all the good, bad, and the lacking points. So with those scrutinizing feedbacks, you are able to build on and improve to the system. So invite feedback. And finally, the 7th one is document everything. Document everything. So once you document everything, it assists you in future, or if a current user interface designer leaves, another one comes in, he or she has a good set of knowledge as to what has been done and what needs to be done to go forth. So document everything. Question number 7. List 7 guidelines for designing a user interface. 7 guidelines for designing a user interface. 1. Create a user interface that is easy to learn and use. Create a user interface that is easy to learn and use. Next, enhance user productivity. Enhance user productivity. The word productivity means the amount of output you get as per the level of input. So if you put in, let's say, 2 buckets of water, so the output is 4 buckets of water. Okay, the output as per the level or amount of input. That's productivity. Next point. Provide users with help and feedback. Provide users with help and feedback. Next up, create an attractive layout and design. Create an attractive layout and design. Next, enhance the interface. Enhance the interface. Moving on, the next guideline is to focus on data entry screens. Focus on data entry screens. Next point, use validation rules. Use validation rules. Please ensure to learn the different types of validation rules that we have in our notes. Okay, learn about them. Next up, reduce input volume. In other words, reduce input volume. What it means is that the level of input that the user needs to put in has to be as minimum as possible. Okay, reduce input volume. All right, so those were our 7 tutorial questions for week 10. Now, okay, we still have quite a lot of time with us. We've just used 25 minutes for our tutorial. So next up, we'll start working on our labs. Now in week 10 section of the, on week 9 section of the model shell, I gave you an exercise on a use case diagram. So over here, you were supposed to create a use case diagram for a hotel web page. So first of all, you were supposed to identify all possible actors, then identify possible use cases, allow interaction between the actors and the use cases, and are there any included or extended relationships? If there are, you are supposed to plot them in the use case diagram. So let's get on with it, and I expect you to call out the answers while they're asking questions, because I'm guessing you should have done this from last week, and you have the answers or the use case diagram drawn in front of you. So I will draw it up on a Word document. Okay, do I still have a diagram of an actor over here? No, I don't. Okay. Are you able to see the Word document?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Monish. Okay. So first of all, we'll list down all the possible actors. Okay. So for a hotel website, whom do you think would be the actors? So first of all, we will put down, okay, the possible actors. Okay, can I have someone, can I have people calling out? Okay, what are some of the actors, or who are some of the actors? Hotel website, if there's a website, who all uses the website? Okay, first one, customer. Okay, thank you. So first of all, you have the customer, who would be the primary actor. Why the primary actor? Because he or she initiates the use. Okay, so what is the difference between a primary actor and a secondary actor? A primary actor is an actor, or is a person, or it can be a system, it can be a another machine, okay, or it can be a hardware which initiates the use of the current system. Whereas a secondary actor, these are all reactionary actors. That means they react to what the system does or what the user does. Okay, so actors, first of all, we have a, yes, Musharat, it should be fine. Okay, probably you can catch up once the video is uploaded, the recorded version on Moodle. How many else of you do? How many of you else do not have the electricity at homes? I think half of Lotoka area is down today. So those of you who'd like to leave, if your battery is dying out, you're most welcome to do so. You can catch up with a recording that will be up on Moodle. All right. So actors. First one is the primary actor. Any other actor? You have the organization who basically owns the particular website. Thank you, Musharat. Okay. Who else would be the actors? Organization, for example, in this case, let's put it as the hotelier. Hotelier is a term that we give for people who owns a hotel. Okay, so the organization. So the hotelier would be a secondary actor. Next actor that we have is, we have the website developer as well. Okay, why them? Okay, because every now and then websites are something that needs to be updated, and these individuals are also secondary actors. They will react to it. For example, if the organization tells the web developer to go and update something, so that particular individual is a reactionary actor. What's next? What else? What else? Okay, first of all, what do we have in a hotel website? We have the information about the hotel, we have pictures, and then we have availability. Availability is where you have the booking engine. For example, book now. So you click on the button, you have the room categories with the price ranges. Okay, so that booking engine is managed by the web developer, by the way. Okay, and you have, at the very end, you have a section whereby you go around and pay for the booking that you're doing, or the reservation that you're doing. So when you pay, where does the money go?
Bank.
In the bank, right? So that means in order to reserve a room, okay, the hotel would first of all need to see that the money has been reached into their bank account or not. So in that case, your bank account, okay, or the bank becomes one of your actors as well. So bank is a actor here as well, and the bank is a secondary actor. Do you have any other actors that you think might come in? Now remember, we're only considering those who would be using the system in one way or the other. Okay, so with a hotel website, these are the only actors that we have. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to go and figure out what could be some of the possible use cases. Okay. Okay, first of all, what could be some of the use cases? What does a customer do with a particular website? Views details or views hotel details? Okay, book a room. All right. Okay, so first of all, the customer will go and view hotel information or details. We can put down information. Next up, okay, the customer can also have queries running. Okay, after that, thank you, Sammy. Book rooms. Next, after booking rooms, let's say the person is satisfied with a room category and the rate, so he or she processes payment. Right? What else? Send confirmation emails. So the hotel, once they receive the payment, they send a confirmation email to the client and have a copy with them. And the last thing that might be in a use case is updates website. So that's where your web developer comes in. Now remember, last week I told you is when you have a certain list of actors, all the actors need to interact with at least one of the use cases. If a actor does not interact with any of the use cases within your use case diagram, there's no need to have that actor. So in our case, okay, so updates websites, that's where the web developer would come in. The bank, okay, how is the bank interacting in processing payment? So once the customer basically processes the payment, so the bank gets money and will have some include an extended use cases together with it. Okay, so that's how the bank interacts. Book a room, that's where the hotelier and the customer interacts. Okay, queries again, so that's where the customer and the hotelier, the customer will send in a query, the hotelier or the hotel will basically correspond. Views hotel information, it's a single interaction, and the actor is customer. Confirmation, that's where the hotel and the customer they interact again. And update website, that's where the web developer comes in, secondary actor. Any other use cases you have in your mind, or any other actors you feel that I'm missing out to something? Anyone? Okay, no. If no, I will go and very quickly get a picture of a stick figure so that it becomes easy for me to put it down. All right. So some of the very first things that you do in a use case diagram, I think this much space should be enough. First thing is you'll have to go and make a system. So the system is generally represented by a rectangle. So this is what you have. Try to put it as down as possible so that I'm using the most of the space in my Word document. There you go. And I will make this something like that. Okay, and remember your system always has a title. Okay, so what is going to be our title? I will then go and insert in a text box So in the simple text box, I will write down is hotel website. Okay, adjust the size and I'll place it here on top. And at the moment you have these outline marks, so double click on it. Okay, text outline, let's leave the color to white. Oh, pardon me, this is text outline effects, shape outline rather. Okay, there you go, hotel website. So once you're done with it, we'll go and put in the actors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 actors. So I'll go and insert in the picture of an actor. So to pull it across, format, tab, position, centered, wrap text should be square. So that will make it easy for me to move it around. So this is my actor. So I need 4 of these. So Control C, Control V to paste. So that's the second one. And then the third one. And then the fourth one. All good? Okay. Now I will quickly go and copy and paste this text box so that I can put in the names of the actor. So over here, we have a customer. And I'll drag it across, copy and paste, take it to the other side. And this one, I will name it as the hotelier. Put it down, and this one, I will call it as the bank. And finally, the very last one that we have is the website developer. All right, so far system rectangle has been placed in. We have listed in our actors, 4 actors: customer, hotelier, website developer, and the bank. So from here, we have to start putting in our use cases. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the use cases. So use cases are generally represented by ovals. So the very first one, so I'll quickly go and have one simple one done, and from there I will copy and paste. So try to make it a bit bigger in size, something like this, so the entire information goes in. So the first one, 1, 2, second one, third one, fourth, fifth, and the sixth one shouldn't go outside the system. So there it goes. All right, so right click, add text. First one is view hotel information. Next up is queries. After that, book rooms. Next up is process payment. Next is send confirmation. And next is update website. Now, so once you've drawn your actors and your use cases, the next thing you have to do is you have to allow interaction of the actors with the use cases. Now, why I'm leaving a space, because I know there are some include and extended use cases which are coming in. So I've given some space here. So when you are making in your use cases, you should have something in your mind, or you should be able to figure out whether you have any include or extended use cases or not. If not, you can have all of these use cases right in the middle of that particular system rectangle. Else, you have to put them on the side. Okay, so interaction, first of all, you use a simple line. So the customer interacts with the hotel. That's one. Next one, customer has queries. Now, these queries are answered by the hotelier. So there you go. All right. After that, book room. So who does it generally books the room? The customer books the room, and the hotel checks the availability and books it accordingly. Now, when the hotel checks the availability, so that's where you have you include. It's a thing, or it's a process that goes together with the base use case. So therefore, what I will do next is I will create a use case, and I'll create two of them. Okay. And in fact, I'll try to have them quite small in size. Likewise, same thing here, bit small in size. So in here, I will say check availability. And in the second one, you write down, okay, no availability. So with your included use case, okay, you have an arrow moving there. Okay, in fact, it should be a pointed arrow, by the way. Here you go. Okay, from here to here. And extended is going to be something similar, running from here to here. All right. Now with it, I need to go and insert some text. So I will copy this and I'll write down here as include. Is it include or included? Include. Okay. You can make this small in size. For example, control the font size. I'll make this to 8. It's quite good at the moment. Okay. And have it to something as such. And this comes here. Let's include. Control C, Control V, and then you can put it down here. So that becomes extend. Extended, in fact. All right. Okay. So customer books room, same time. The system goes and checks availability. And if there's availability, then it books through. If not, no availability. So it goes back to the customer again. Okay. Now, I think what you can also do is when you have something like this has no availability, so this is drawn from checking the availability first. So what you need to do is you need to pull a line over here showing the connection. All right. Okay. Next is process payment. So who basically makes a payment? So the customer makes a payment. Okay. Now, who is supposed to receive the payment? So the hotelier is supposed to receive the payment, and the payment is received in their bank account, whereby the bank confirms the hotelier that the payment has been successfully received. If not successfully received, the room in the hotel is not booked out, okay, or it's not reserved. So same thing here with process payment. You need to go and check balance, no balance. Okay, so I will quickly go and get this done. Okay, so Control C, Control V. So paste it here. Okay, I'll try to make it a bit smaller in size, something like this. Check availability, and the no availability use cases. I'll need to modify them. Okay, so instead of availability, you'll have check balance, and then no balance, or not no balance. I think it should be suitable as insufficient funds, right? So together with that, you need an arrow coming in, Control C and Control V. So coming from the use case to check balance, and another arrow coming in, Control C, Control V, coming in there. So include would come in somewhere on top, and let's put it to the back. I can leave it like this, should be fine. And then extended, Control C, Control V. So that also comes in here, and then you can rotate it accordingly. All right. And together with that, you will also need to have a line indicating the insufficient balance comes after checking the balance. There you go. All right. So with the use case process payment, your hotelier is linked to it, and also the bank. Now send confirmation. So who sends the confirmation? The hotel would send in the confirmation, okay? And the customer will receive the confirmation. All right. After that, the next use case that you have is update website. So update website has nothing to do with the customer. It has to do with the hotelier, because they are the ones who will request the updating of the website. The bank has nothing to do with it, and the website developer will actually go and develop it based on the request of the hotelier. Okay, so this is what your use case looks like. Generally, a use case of this size or this magnitude will be worth about 10 to 15 months. Okay, I'll give you about 5 minutes. Have a good look at it and get the corrections done in your papers or whatever, wherever you're doing it, in a Word document and so forth. Okay, get it done, and after about 5 minutes, take about 10 minutes. Okay, from 11 a.m. we'll look at the next use case. Okay, get busy, everyone. You have about 10 minutes with you. As soon as you have done with the use case, just drop me a message that you have finished. You are finished, so that I can know that we can continue from there onwards. Okay, as soon as you're done, drop me a chat message. Thank you. Thank you, Monish, for your feedback. I'm still waiting for others. So you have 4 minutes on you. You have 2 minutes on you. All right, so it's 10 minutes already. So let's go and proceed with our next exercise. So the next exercise that we have is on week 10 section of the modal shell. Now, where you're seeing the UML use case diagram or scenario is given, we will do this in a class. The remaining of those two, you will have to do it in your own, and we'll discuss that in next week's class. Okay, so let's go and read out the scenario. First one, it says, imagine all those activities that incur when you check out at a supermarket. It may be something as such. Once you are done shopping, you end up at the cashier counter to pay for the products you bought. The cashier scans all the product to calculate the total amount. Every customer is bound to pay VAT and other necessary taxes imposed by the government. The cashier account and login is managed by the system administrator of the organization, the supermarket in this case. When paying, the customer either pays cash or run a debit or credit card. You are to create a unified modeling language use case diagram for the above scenario. Okay, now first of all, we'll have to identify our actors. So I'll quickly open up a new Word document and I'll save this up. Let's stick to the basics. Whenever you create a new document, you need to save it up at the same time. So use case exercise 2. All right. Now, actors. So who all are our possible actors over there? First one is a customer, and he or she is the primary actor. Any other actor you could think of?
Cashier.
Cashier. Okay. So a cashier would be a secondary actor. Thank you. Any other actor?
System administrator.
System administrator as well. Okay. Now, why a system administrator? Because he or she manages the system and the core system. Any other?
Bank.
Bank. Yes, bank also plays a role in it. Why and how? When the debit and the credit cards are run. Okay. Good, good. Some of you are getting there. Okay. What else? Any other actor? The supermarket as well. Okay. Now, why the supermarket? Think about this. There is no need to have a supermarket in a F-post situation or a point of sale situation rather. But look at this. Once you are done shopping, so the shopping part is done by the customer. Cashier scans, so the cashier is the actor. Now, every customer is bound to pay VAT and the other necessary taxes imposed by the government. So the customer pays VAT. Do they pay it separately or together with the items? Together with the items. Okay, but the organization goes and separates the actual sale amount with the VAT amount, and the VAT amount is given to the government at a monthly time or 3 monthly time. I'm not so sure when it is given. I'm guessing it's given in a monthly time. Okay, gives out to the government, in our case to FIRCA. Okay, and the organization handles all those things. So that's where the supermarket comes in. And the cashier account and the logging is managed by the system administrator. So the system administrator maintains, okay, the system. And when paying, the customer either pays cash or runs a debit or credit card. Now, the last one is a bit tricky. When you pay cash, you don't actually go and check balance because the cashier pays, so the customer pays the cash amount. When somebody uses a credit card, again, a credit card generally does not go and check balance. So if a person is spending beyond the credit card amount, okay, the bank imposes the additional interest to it or not. Okay, but where the situation comes is in terms of debit card. Okay, now the debit card, you have to check balance. Now in credit card as well, some places when the bank blocks out the credit card, okay, so in that case the customer is not able to process it. So what we'll do is, for paying, for cash payment, we'll have a separate use case. For debit card and credit card payment, we'll have a separate use case altogether. Okay, so let's go and work on this now. So we have already identified our actors. So First of all, you have a customer, then you have a cashier, then you have a system administrator, you have a bank and supermarket. Now let's go and identify use cases. Now, this is how you generally go and identify use cases. You have identified your actors. Now think what all use cases are linked to the actor. So what does a customer does? He or she cashes items. Okay. What does a cashier do? Cashier scans and cashes items. Now, cashes item, the word cash over there would mean is bring it out to have it cashed, to have it processed. Okay. Scans slash caches items. Now, why are we having separately for caches items? Because a customer brings it out to cache it. The cashier scans it first. If both of them would have been involved in a process of caching the item, we could have it something like scans. Or what do you think? Would we merge? Can we merge those two? Obviously, for caching it, the customer would need, the cashier would need to scan it first. Maybe we can merge the two. What do you think? People, what do you think? Should we merge it or have it separate?
Can merge.
Let's have it merged. Okay. Now we'll have it merged. So cashier's items. So that's where the customer and the cashier they interact. Next one is maintains the system. Whose work is that? System administrator. After that, we have the bank. So what is a bank involved in? Where is a bank involved? People? Before we go into bank, so pays cash, pays via credit or debit card. So that's where a bank comes in. Okay. And then VAT payment. That's where your supermarket is linked to. Any other use case that we are missing on to? Check through the scenario as well. So done shopping ends up at the cashier counter to pay for the items. So paying we've covered. Cashier scans, we've also covered that. Customer is bound to pay VAT, we've also covered that. Okay. So cashier account is paid by the system administrator, we've also covered that. When paying, the customer pays cash, we've covered that. And run a debit or credit card, we've also covered that. So I think that's it. So these are the number of use cases that we have. Now, next up, let's go and actually have it done. Now, do we think you have any inclusion or extended use cases here in this case? All right, so insert tab, illustrations group, shapes, pull out a rectangle. So we'll pull it out, take it right at the bottom of our page. And we can have it something like this. Okay, so you need to go and insert in the text box to insert in the name. So this is a supermarket POS system. What does POS stand for? Rather? Anyone?
Point of sale. Point of sale.
Point of sale. Thank you. Yes, it is point of sale. So something like that. So that's done with the system. Now we need to insert in our actor. So the actor, I have an image saved here. So double click on it, format tab, position, keep it centered, wrap text, square, and then you can make it smaller in size. And we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actors. So you have your customer, and then you have for your cashier, And then there's a third one. That's the fourth one. And then you have a fifth one. And I will try to disperse it into that set of area so that it becomes easy for me to, so that your diagram looks much more better and not too messy. After that, we have to go and give the names of our actors. Make it smaller in size. First one is a customer. After that, we have cashier. Now, there's no specific order in which you can place in your actors. You can have it in any order as long as the links are working. The linking that you do from the use cases to the actor, they need to be well done. Okay. So from here, you have system administrator. Oops, pardon me. And the final one that you have is second last one, sorry, is the bank. And last one is the supermarket itself. So now I have to pull this up a bit because my last actor is not fitting in. All right. So you have your system, you have your actors, then comes in the use cases. The very first use case that you have is, okay. Now you have extended and included use cases as well. So we'll keep this on the side and then right click, we call it as cache items. Now you can have caches item or cache items. Any would do, whichever suits you the most, but meaning should be same. And then maintains the system, maintains system. After that, pays cache. Next up, pays via credit or debit cards. And the last one is VAT payment. Okay, let's go and link it up now. Now the customer caches the item and the cashier scans it and then provides with the total. Now the system administrator maintains the system. Now when they maintain the system, they do it in the request of the supermarket, remember? So it has to be both of them. Now pays cash, so the customer pays cash, okay, and who receives it? It is received by the supermarket. Bank is not related to it at the moment. The money directly goes to the supermarket. Now the customer pays via the debit or credit card. The bank receives it. So sorry, the supermarket receives it first, and the bank does the verification process. So how do they do the verification process? So this needs to be linked first, and you need to put in your inclusion and exclusion use cases in the middle. So I will just quickly copy this and put this over here, and then at the same time paste and make another copy of it down here. Very well. Okay, so checks balance, insufficient balance. Now it needs to be a arrow and another one going down here, and then you need to have text with it for included and extended. So included, and then extended. Now for the vet payment, the last one, sorry, we're also missing onto this here. Now, we can also do something like this, which I suggest for you to do it most of the time, is to have this color differently, okay? So that you know what's happening. And if you have a lot of these in your use case, so the coloring plays a key role. All right, so we have that. And for the vet payment, so the vet payment is basically done by the customer. It goes together with the cashing out, okay? And the cashier receives it first, okay? And eventually the supermarket takes it out and pays it to the authorities. So that's your use case for the scenario. Now it requires a bit of critical thinking. Why? Because now the case study doesn't say, okay, that the supermarket takes it out and then gives it. So it requires a bit of technical and technical thinking, because the customer pays it through the cashing of the items and through this money. Okay, and once it paid, the bet is received. The bet goes together with the total amount it is received by the cashier to the to later on, to which the supermarket will extract it out and hand it over to the vet authorities. In Fiji we have FIRCA. Okay, now why we are not putting in FIRCA over here is because we do not know when the supermarket is going to pay. Okay, but we do know the supermarket receives it. Okay, if you come to a conclusion, okay, and if you want to include FIRCA in there as well and say FIRCA receives a vet, you can do that even, okay, and you won't be marked incorrect. Okay, and even if you don't do it, that's fine. But unless and until the case study says that FIRCA receives it, then it becomes a compulsory element in that case. All right, so I'll give you about 5 minutes to get this done, and after that we'll close of the class for today. Now, those of you who have been writing this down and doing it together with me, you are most welcome to actually attempt the exercise 1 and 2 on the week 10 section of the Moodle show. We will be marking this next week. Okay, now, do you need time, or you already have done this already? Anyone needs time on this, or would you like to view the recording later and get it done? Let me know so that I can make a decision. Anyone needs time now? Reply via the word yes through your chat message feature on Zoom. So no one. Okay, if no one, this is where we'll knock off the class for today. I hope that you are able to understand and grasp the concepts of use case diagrams. Please do. I've already made your CIN603 paper. This is there. Okay, so learn this properly. All right, everyone. Okay, till then, take care, stay safe. I will see you all on next week, Monday, with the lecture notes. And also, please keep up with your lecture based quiz questions. And together with that, your major assignment. Take care, stay safe. See you all next week, Monday. Thank you.